The NBA's always have something news. Clearly, we found out that Adrian Griffin is out as head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks after leading them to the second best record in the Eastern Conference at 30-13. He got fired. It kind of gives you that David Blatt kind of vibes from 2016, a little bit of a coach who's, I guess, records doesn't deem for you to be successful in this NBA league. That doesn't matter. So he's out. And within 24 hours, Doc Rivers is in. So I guess my first question it's kind of twofold. Zig, let me start with you. What was your first initial reaction when he got fired? And then the fact that Doc Rivers was already like, I guess they were grooming Doc right away. Like they wasted no time. What were your thoughts there?
Doc was grooming himself, man, the way it seemed like. When I first got the news, the first thing I said was this has to be something on him, right? Something behind the scenes. Because I didn't, like you just mentioned, you're the second best team in the Eastern Conference. Why are you firing the coach? Something had to have been with him. And then when the news started to come out, because I like to wait, I used to jump the gun before the full information would come out. I'm like, well, we need more information to come out before I can make a decision. And everything just started to come out, boatload. They were saying how he screamed on Terry Stotts, the assistant coach, at one time that forced him to resign last year. He was trying to put in a defensive scheme after trading pretty much all the players to get Dame over, and that he didn't really have the locker room. So you know that must have upset Giannis. I definitely think Giannis had something to say about what was going on, and they had to make a move. So I'm not surprised them getting rid of Adrian Griffin that fast in that regard. I don't see a comparison between him and David Black because when David Black got fired, nothing came out about David Black. Everybody was like, "Yo, he did what he was supposed to do." With Doc Rivers if I'm not mistaken, he was a consultant with the Milwaukee Bucks, so it was easy just to slide him right into that position. So I'm looking forward to see how that goes. I don't know what Doc is gonna do with this particular team. I mean, Doc has a very shaky record. I'm not gonna lie to you. Somebody said it. I think it was in one of our group chats that he's still living off of that '08 ring, and that's been how many years ago now? So
15 years. We know it.
15 years. Wow. So there you go.
Going on 16. Yeah.
Only time will tell.
Mike, what was your initial thoughts when you saw that he got fired and the fact that Doc got the job within 24 hours?
See, I didn't know Doc got the job that quickly. But so first him getting fired. I mean, we've been talking about this on here for like a month now about some of the rumblings about Adrian Griffin. But that's what we talked about when we talked about the Bucks to start the season. We said that was one of the big question marks is what is that coaching going to look like for that team? And again, 30-13 would suggest that he was doing good. And this is kind of similar to last year with you guys, Carl, where everybody was like, Joe Mazzulla got to go, but y'all record was good. But everybody was looking at these key games or these key moments to say, but y'all good because y'all good in spite of him. And I think that's what Adrian Griffin has fallen victim to, is that people are going to say they're good in spite of him or despite his shortcomings. Because if he's trying to implement defensive schemes and have the 22nd ranked defense, their defense is trash, especially when you see them against good teams. We're 4-1 against them. And we ain't 4-1 against nobody else but them. So there's something about the schemes, but you know me, I'm always, in many ways, coaches are always scapegoats. But again, they were doing good. So I don't know if he's necessarily a scapegoat because in terms of records. So, I mean, it's unfortunate. I think I read an article that this is unprecedented. Nobody gets fired this early with this good of a record. I think that's what I read. So that is something new. So that's crazy. And we're going to do this again with Doc Rivers. So we just gonna keep doing this, huh? We're just gonna keep What evidence do we have that Doc Rivers is a great coach? We're still trying to find. We're gonna live off of one champion.
You see, that's
we
the
get
wording,
to live off
Mike.
of one championship.
And shout out to Ray now, who's in the hit list. He's saying, I think sometimes we're not saying Doc is a great coach, but is it good enough to say he's a good coach? He's good enough to get you to that's the difference. Is that I think. Yeah, it's the verbiage is that like you just said it. He's not a great coach, But I guess he's
But
a
why?
good enough coach.
But
It's good
even
enough.
that, why are we? This is the person with the most come from behind 3.31 losses. This dude is. I'm just saying, what? It's hard to say if he's really a good coach. Like, how are we determining that? He won a
But
championship.
how are we
That's
determining
brilliant.
that he's not a good coach? Again, he does have a
I'm just
championship.
saying,
So I'm just saying, I get it. I get it.
if your team, if this is the thing, if you're supposed to be this leader and everybody follows you, but all of these flameouts happen everywhere you go, not like one place, every single place you've been, a team you've coached has flamed out everywhere you've been. So at some point, when does that matter? And just the point to this is, and you know what I'm gonna do, Carl? Where my man Mark, man? My man can't get no
Well,
job.
no, he's not getting
My
no
man,
job, man.
so my man just never gonna get a job, huh? That's
We
just what it's
passed
gonna
that.
be.
We passed that like
That's
years
just what
ago,
it's
bro.
gonna
Like
be,
it is
huh?
what it is. We
It's been a
know.
while since I brought his
I
name up,
told
Paul,
you.
but
I don't know if I've told you why he's not going to get a job. We know why Mark's not going to get a
we
job.
know,
There's
we
a lot of
know.
reasons why Mark's
I'm
not going
just
to get a
saying,
job,
man.
and
At some
especially after
point,
what happened with
NBA,
him with him getting hired by the Knicks apparently, and then they let him
And then
go.
quickly out of
Quickly,
there.
they let him got out of
it's
there.
just not
Like,
gonna
come on, it's
happen.
not
It
going to
hurts.
happen, bro. It's not going
It
to happen.
hurts. It hurts. That hurts me
Um,
personally. But yeah, I don't understand why we're doing this again with Doc Rivers. Like, I don't get it, but we'll
And
see.
just to put it out there too, before I get to Andres, is that technically Adrian Griffin, he was hired for a Bucks team that was supposed to have Drew Holiday. Just remember that. So he wasn't hired for a team that was like they traded after. It's the same kind of situation when it comes to David
Nah,
Blatt,
nah,
right?
don't give me that crap, Carl. You a coach. You're supposed to make adjustments.
Oh,
But
hey,
listen,
listen.
but listen, let's
All
do the
I'm
same thing for
saying is,
David Blatt though. But hold on, Mike, let's remember, right? They said the same argument when David Blatt got fired. David Blatt was hired to coach a team that didn't have LeBron on it. It's the same kind of concept.
correct.
Why can't we apply the same thing here? I'm just saying what's fair
All
is
I'm
fair.
saying for to buffer and elevate that point, Carl, it ain't Adrian Griffin can't make Damian Lillard taller and a better defender. Can't make him be that. If he can't defend, he can't defend. That ain't Adrian Griffin's job to make sure y'all got rid of all your defensive players. You got a bunch of scorers. You don't have defensive players on the perimeter, and it's Adrian Griffin's fault.
Andres, what are your thoughts? What did you think of when he literally got fired and then hiring Doc right after?
I mean, the Adrian Griffin news, like, it caught me by surprise, quote unquote, because like Ziggy said, and the Bucks have looked beatable like all year. You know what I mean? Like they're 30-13, and like that's cute or whatever, but like they're not like a good 30-13. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's fake, quote unquote. I know Carl's gonna run that clip and go viral, but it's a fake record. You know what I mean? But not to be an asshole, but the first thing I said was there has to be something behind the scenes, right? So me personally, you guys know I do a lot of digging, and there's something that came up in the bubble with him that was like behind the scenes. And now like there was this whole scenario with his grandson where his grandson passed away, and then the mother of the grandson said that they were responsible for it. So like and then she was going viral on Instagram because she was like, "Oh, I'm grateful that he got fired. Now the truth is going to come out, yada yada yada." So like, it's a lot of steam behind the scenes that's going on that people don't know about. Tuck Rivers, man. When we look up biggest scam artists in the history of like the universe, Doc Rivers has to be like top five.
I felt that.
Like top 3, top 5. Dude, how do you lose the most game 7s in NBA history, the most elimination games in NBA history, the most blown leads in NBA history, and you coaching the Milwaukee Bucks, bro? Like, really? Like, this is what we're doing? I'm not talking about making the NBA finals. He hasn't made the conference finals since 2012. I was in 7th grade. I'm about to be 25 in 6 months. Not even the finals. If we're talking about the finals, it's been 14 years. I was in the 5th grade. I'm about to be 25 in 6 months. Like, we're not asking much. You know what I mean? And people are going to be like, oh, well, he's a good coach, yada, yada, yada. If we talk about the amount of talent that this guy has had, from Tracy McGrady all the way to Joel Embiid, and he's only, I'm going to say only, I don't care, I'm going to say only one championship? Really, dude? Like, I'm not even asking you to make the finals. The conference championship finals. It's been 12 years. I'm sorry, man, but like I said, he's running some Ponzi scheme. I don't know what he's doing, but he's got to be involved in one of those things, man. I'm sorry.
He got dirt on cousin Adam. That's
Oh,
what.
let's give this. Wait, Carl, wait. Please give this man a standing ovation. Oh man, that was beautiful. Andres, that you couldn't have said it any better. That was incredible.
But let me
He
ask this
just
though.
laid
So
it out perfectly. I know
okay,
that
so
hurt,
fair.
Carl.
So
That hurt.
no, a little. Well, let's just say I guess so, right? Because he was the championship coach on my team, but they wanted a veteran coach with championship experience. So if not Doc, then who should have been in that spot?
Do
'Cause
we even count Doc having championship experience? We talk about 16 years ago. Like that
of
is that
course,
champ? Is that
because
actual championship? Does he have real
but let me ask you a
recollection
question.
of
You go
what
get
it takes to
but again, let me ask you a question. You go get a guy like Larry Brown. Is that not
still?
he has championship experience? I'm just throwing out there coaches that have won championships. That's not the same thing.
No,
Same,
but see,
no.
that's the point, Carl. It's
So
like,
they have
all
to
right,
have a relevant championship in order for them to win.
I think, listen, I think so. I think it's a lot of things that, like, all right, perfect example. You have a doctor. He's really good at surgeries. He's good at performing heart surgeries. He hasn't done one in 16 years. You letting him operate on you? Nah,
Look
you gonna go to
at
somebody
it.
else. You gonna
I
go to
had to think
somebody
about it
else.
for a sec. But again,
Yeah, you gonna go to somebody
if
else.
not him, then who? You said Mark
But
Jackson. Mark Jackson doesn't have championship experience, so then who would
but
have been in
even
that
but
spot?
the premise, remember, but I would argue your premise. Who says you have to have a championship experience coach? Ty
Milwaukee
Lue
wanted.
had no championship
Milwaukee
experience.
wanted that though.
Steve
Milwaukee
Kerr.
wanted that.
No, they asked Giannis, do you want Nick Nurse? And Giannis said, So out the window with that whole championship experience
See,
stuff
But that's
because of
so
again reports from what I was hearing was that they wanted from Woj
yeah,
was that they wanted a coach, a veteran
but
coach
look
who
again,
had
but look
that
at
had
our
that.
recent but look at our champions. Mike Malone, no championship experience. Budenholzer, no championship experience. Steve Kerr, no championship experience. Like we could just Ty Lue, no championship
Frank
experience.
Vogel.
Frank Vogel, no championship experience.
Yeah.
So what is Milwaukee thinking? Now that I just laid it out freestyling, now they're stupid. Now I can say that. All right, that was harsh. I don't want to say that. That was mean. I'm sorry, Milwaukee.
I mean,
Championship
Okay.
experience,
So now,
nonsense.
all right. So fine. So now that they have Doc,
Nonsense.
Ziggs, what adjustments? We clearly know that the defense needs to be adjusted, but knowing Doc, does he make those defensive adjustments, or is there something? Or is he? For me, I like to believe Doc is a great motivational speaker. Mike looks
What
confused.
evidence do you have of that?
That
What
what?
Carl, what evidence do you have that Doc is a great motivational speaker? He had one good speech. What evidence do you have?
Because again, I know I like I said, he coached my team for like what 6 years, I think, or maybe longer than that. And I've seen in his mottos, he had the Ubuntu motto. He also one time, you know what he actually did? I think he left like like he took like $100 from the team and he left it in the Lakers locker room, and then they ended up going back to the finals to go get the money. So he has his ways of motivating the team. That's all I'm saying is that there's a
You
way.
still talking about 16 years ago. All right, cool.
That's not what I'm saying. Listen. I'm grabbing for straws here. Help me out. I don't know. I'm just saying.
let me say something real quick, Carl, before you continue. Who was the defensive coach for this Boston Celtics when you guys won? Who was it?
It was Tibbs.
Tibbs, right?
Yeah,
When was the last
Tibbs.
time? When was the last time Tibbs went to the conference finals?
I want to say with the Bulls, did he not?
Was that 2011?
Right,
Yeah,
2011.
no, 2011 with the Bulls. Yeah, yeah.
And Doc made it in 2012. So we're talking about the same two guys have made it as that far, and one guy has coached every single human being possible, and the other guy hasn't.
There's nothing. All right, so okay. So what is he gonna? Okay, so if anyone can answer the question, what is he gonna do with this Bucks team? That's what we think. This is where we are. This is where we are. So what is he gonna do with this Bucks team now?
I think with this Bucks team, I don't see much change on the defense. You know, to be honest with you, I think we need to get in and just see, because all of the stuff that was reported, a lot of players were complaining about different things. One of the examples being that, hey, they kept having not Russell Westbrook, sorry. They kept having Brook Lopez too high up on the post, and he's chasing all these defenders instead of him having playing drop defense. So that's been covered. That's been taken care of. I mean, what else can you add? And do you have the pieces? Do you have the pieces to actually play a good defensive scheme, to have a good
They
defensive?
can't go out and get anybody. As far as the trade deadline is concerned, they're not going out to go get anybody
Yo,
else.
and who can they get? There's nobody wants Chris Middleton. Dame and Giannis is going nowhere. Who else is on that roster? Brook Lopez is what, 36 years old. Who you going?
Right.
Who you
The
going
other
to?
thing they said too was that Dame and Giannis did not have many pick and rolls, which was probably the easiest way for them to score. There weren't that many for them.
But
A
see,
lot of
that's the
pick and
problem,
rolls.
Carl. They're the third ranked offense, but they're the 22nd ranked defense. Now, everybody understands my Pacers are like that. It's a young team. They have to develop defensively. That's a veteran team that's pathetic defensively. So, and it's what Zig is saying and what we all have been saying. Personnel. Dame is not going to be a great defender, and neither is Malik Beasley and the rest of that bench. It's not a good – the team does not look good. If you look at the construction of the team, it's a poorly constructed team. But so what you going to ask Doc Rivers to do? What first of all, what schemes do we know that Doc Rivers does? Like, what are his out of bounds plays? Like, tell me, Carl, all these schemes that Doc Rivers is going to implement. That's gonna like a
I've been salty at the
we
dude
got a
since
Miami Heat fan right here, like a
listen, dude didn't want to be part. It's funny, dude didn't want to be part of a rebuilding team in Boston, and we've gotten further than he has since he left us. So I mean, I don't. It's
since
16 years. Fail.
Since Tibbs became a coach, Tibbs has won 5 playoff series, and Doc has won 8. One of them has coached every single talent in the book, and the other one has not.
Wow. Tibbs also has a coach of the year too, right? Does he have more than one?
Who?
Tibbs has a coach.
Yeah, I think he has 2 for with the Knicks or whatever.
Bro, bro. So we gonna go from what Andre said. Who you have? You had Paul Pierce. You had KG. You had T Mac. Now you're gonna have. You had Blake Griffin in his prime. You had Chris.
Yeah, Rajon. Keep going. Keep going.
Rondo. Now you're gonna have
Paul George,
James Harden,
James Harden,
Tyrese Embiid. Yeah, he did.
Now you're gonna have Giannis and
Dame Lillard.
Bro, that's 15. That's 15 players off.
This should be it. Yo, Carl, this should be it.
But they did say that though. They did say this may be like even Kendrick Perkins was saying, and he's like, "This is his last."
Gotta be it.
He doesn't win with them. This has got to be it.
This has got to be it. And I don't want. We could say the team is poorly constructed, but I don't want to hear that from Doc. This got to be it. Like it can't be. All right. And and you talk about motivational speaking. He part of the reason Ben Simmons is the artist formerly known. Doc is part of the reason.
He threw him under the bus too. I didn't like when he did that. He definitely threw him under the bus for that.
Mr. Motivational Leader.
Okay, so let me end the conversation with this though. We know we're saying he's not great. But can we give Doc the notion that he's a good coach or no?
What's your standard?
Yeah, no, he's a good coach. I don't got no stuff like that.
He's a good coach. So we're gonna give him the good stance. We're gonna give him the good. We're saying he's not great, but we're saying he's good.
Did you hear what Andres? Can you repeat what you said at the end of your opening monologue? Did you hear what this man said about his playoff resume?
That's why he's not. Yeah, there you go.
Let me keep
somebody like that good, Zig.
He's good in the season. He do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Hold on. Sorry,
let me just say.
You're good. We keep talking about and 2 times y'all said it and I didn't say nothing. Y'all mentioned the Tracy McGrady being, he had Tracy McGrady as a player.
Oh,
that team was garbage, and he got them to the playoffs despite what era we were in. That you can't name anybody else on that team besides
Grant Hill got hurt too. And
if I start calling names, y'all are gonna be like, who?
They were up 3-1. They were up
3-1 on Detroit. That's all.
They were up 3-1. And team that got tired. Where's the rest of the team at, bro? I'm sorry.
Okay, but let me say this though, right? To be fair though, are we not gonna? And then Doc tries to refute the 3-1 argument. Are we not? It's the same thing we're saying now. Are we not gonna hold? How much do we hold the coach accountable versus the team? Right. That's where honesty comes in.
It because he tries to make excuses for the loss. He don't want to be accountable. He's supposed to be a leader, and he don't be wanting to be accountable.
How much do we hold excuses? How much do we hold the teams accountable though? Do we not hold the teams accountable in those situations?
Of course.
Okay, we could blame both. Like I don't understand why you're trying to single one out.
Yeah, like
I'm not
blame
trying
both
to single one out. I'm just saying. It seems like.
Let me just say something. Before we move on. From October to March, give me Doc Rivers. April 1st, don't look in my direction. Let's move on. Once the calendar flips to April 16, don't look in my direction.
Because the collapse is coming, man. I don't know how, if someone can say that, I don't know how you can say that coach is good. I don't know.
So mediocre then, Mike?
That's what it sounds. It sounds like decent, Sig. That sounds like a decent.
Yeah, you know what it is too. It's like the NBA that he coached and won in is not the same one. Like from like the years of
Oh,
like
so you mean he has to adjust to the times of
no, yeah,
today's
of
NBA?
course. Yeah,
Oh,
because if you're looking at his record from when he from 08 to like 12 when he went on the run with KG and them, it's like completely different now. They don't play
So
the
it
same
took him like
basketball.
20 years. So it's taken him 20 years to figure out how to coach in this era.
No, he coaches in this era. They just don't win. Y'all are so stupid. He
It
coaches
took
in
him
this
20
era.
years to
They
figure out how to
just
coach
don't
in
win.
this
They
era
just
and
don't
win.
win. They just
Okay.
don't win. They just don't win.